Hello, beautiful people on the internet. It's me, Gratified What Ifs, and I'm here to tell you what if Izuku Midoriya, aka Deku, had Luke Cage's powers, part 8. And before we jump into the video, please do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and comment down below any kind of what if ideas that you have for me. And, well, that's just the usual checklist, to be honest, so let's get into the what if. Last we left off, the sports festival ended with Bakugo coming in first after defeating Izuku Midoriya in the final, Izuku Midoriya coming in second, and Shoto Todoroki coming in third. So, sorry Tokoyami, but at least you're fourth. So, yeah. Anyway, we cut into, well, now, after the forest training arc and into the hero killer Stain arc. First we start at the Bakugo residence, who, well, Mitsuki is pretty proud of both her sons. She thinks as Midoriya as her son now because, well, she has had him for like 2 years, and Midoriya sees him as a stepmom, and, well, he's always seen Bakugo as a brother, so there's nothing wrong with that. So Mitsuki is pretty proud of both of them, and, well, she's thankful that both of them got out of it hurt, and then Izuku is just jokingly says, "You know nothing can hurt me." And Bakugo is like, "Well, I hurt you." And then, yeah, at what cost? At what cost? Good point. And then they begin to walk to the train station. And as they enter their terminal to like go to UA, well, they were scouted by a bunch of them who recognized them immediately because unlike Izuku, who came out 8th in canon, they were able to recognize Bakugo and him more faster than before because he came in second and Bakugo came in first. And as they get off the train and walk to UA, they'll start thinking about, so, your explosions at 1-4 is pretty crazy powerful. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, no kidding. I mean, I was able to knock you off your feet for the first time. And then Izuku is like, "Don't push it, man." And then they see Ida running. And, well, they begin to conversate with Ida. And then Izuku is like, "I heard that your brother Ingenium got injured. Is that true?" And then Ida is like, "Yes." And then Izuku is like, "I'm sorry, man. Is there anything?" And then Tenya Ida was like, "Don't worry about it. There's nothing to worry about. Now hurry up. We'll be late for school." And then Bakugo looks at his watch and he says, "It's 7:25. And Tenya Ida is like, "We gotta get there before 7:30. And both of them just look at each other, and then he was like, "Such a stickler." And in this one, just to clarify everything, Bakugo, yes, he gets his angry burst, so expect him to be angry from time to time, but he is more calmer than he was in canon, thanks to Izuku. So let's continue. And as you know, they get in, they put in their umbrellas, Tenya puts in his raincoat, then they head to class. And then Aizawa comes in and then tells them about the internships. Then he shows them about the amounts that they got. Shoto Todoroki came in third. Bakugo came in second, and Izuku came in first. At the Bakugo, he's like, "What? But I won the sports festival. How did he get more votes than me?" And then Izuku just starts laughing. "Even when I lose, I still win." And then Bakugo is like, "Shut up, you!" And then before he could continue, Aizawa tells him to sit down. And then, well, he does. But, well, not compliantly, but he does anyway. And then Eraserhead begins to explain that it didn't matter if you won the sports festival or not. Usually, heroes will be scouting you if you have potential and how you handled yourself during the sports festival. Just that winning the entire thing could increase your chances. And Luke and Izuku had more internships than you because of how he handled himself in the sports festival. And then everyone starts to think back about what he did, such as when he handled himself on the minefield and how he handled himself in the cavalry battle and how he also handled himself during his battles in the tournament with Shinso, Todoroki, Ida, and lastly Bakugo, even though he still lost. And then he's like, yeah, that's pretty true. You were pretty resourceful that day, Midoriya. Says, comments Froppy. It's like, hey, when you don't have quirks that handle the situation, you just gotta improvise. And then Eraserhead is all like, but since that you're starting your internships today, and well, I'm not good with these kind of things, but you're going to need them if you're going to your internships. I decided to call Midnight to help you with your code names. And then they'll be like, code names? Really? And then Mina is all like, what's a code name? Exactly. And then Eraserhead just comes out bluntly saying, your hero names. And everyone gets excited. And then Bakugo and Izuku just look at each other and then said, I already know what I'm gonna pick. And then Bakugo is like, I also know what I'm gonna pick too. And then they fist bump each other. And then Midnight comes in. And they begin. Yaoyorozu is still creative. Asu is still Froppy. Mineta is still grape juice. All of that. Until Izuku is called into the stand. And then he says his name is Power Man. And then everyone is like, Power Man? And then he's like, yeah, you got a problem with that? And then everyone is like, no, it's cool. Then they call up Bakugo. And then he says, King Explosion Mother. And everyone just sweat drops. Like, are you serious? And then Izuku's like, come on, man. You know you could do better than that. And then Midnight sends him back. He calls Shoto. And Shoto still uses Shoto. And Ida's still not, handling brother issues. Still doesn't take up Ingenium. And he just says his name, Tenya. And then they call him Bakugo again. And this is going to be me because he's more calmer in this one. He picks the name, the Explosion Hero. Exploding Fist. And then Midnight's like, I like that one. And then everyone's like, yeah, it's pretty cool. Plus, it does make sense. And Izuku is like, just gives him a thumbs up. And then they start to prepare for their internships. And then when they head home, they were thinking, what interns are we going to choose? We got so many offers. It's like, yeah. And then they receive a call from All Might. And, they head back to where they first trained and where Bakugo got one for all. You guessed it, Dagobah Beach. And then All Might starts to tell them about how Gran Torino helped him when he had one for all, and he's offering Bakugo to intern under him because he requested you. And then Bakugo says, I'll take anything I can get as long as it doesn't crush my damn arms. And then Izuku's like, what about me? And then, All Might just says, nothing really, but I went through all your offers and I think this hero will suit you the best. Then he hands him a clipboard and it turns out that it's Fat Gum. Since Luke Cage's powers are invulnerability and super strength, Fat Gum could help Izuku in some ways. And I am planning on giving Izuku something later on. Maybe you see it in the next part. So due to him going to Fat Gum, he's not going to be there with Hosu. But instead, Bakugo will take his place. I said my piece. And then Izuku's like, Fat Gum, huh? And then he's like, who is he? And then he tells him about what Fat Gum does and what his quirk is. And then he's like, makes sense. And then Bakugo is all like, looks like both of us are coming back from this super strong. And then he's like, yeah. So they begin to ready their stuff until they head to the terminal. Izuku chats with Ochako and Ida, and then Ida starts acting a bit off. Like, for one, he realized that he's going to manual for some reason, despite him, having engine for quirk, and how he's not talking much, and something's just off. And then Izuku goes to Bakugo and then tells him that can you do me a favor? And then Bakugo is like, what? If you, well, can you keep an eye on Ida? Something? Then Bakugo is like, why? He's your friend, not mine. And then Bakugo just looks at Izuku's eyes and he sees that he's worried for Ida. He's like, don't worry, I'll watch over that damn stickler. And then Izuku's like, thanks. And then he proceeds to head to Fat Gum's agency, and then Bakugo heads to Gran Torino. And and then as he opens the door to Gran Torino, he sees, well, just what Izuku saw. Except he didn't freak out. First, he evaluated the situation, looked around to see if there's any burn marks, checked his pulse, and then Gran Torino thinks, wow, this kid is pretty smarter than I thought. He didn't freak out when he first saw me. And then he says, can you please get up? I know that that's ketchup. And then Gran Torino just starts playing, senile. And then Bakugo is like, God, this was such a waste of time. Then before he could leave, Gran Torino cuts the bullshit and then he starts to reveal his true nature. And then he says that, so, you're Toshinori's next successor, huh? Let's see if you can keep up. And then he begins to be jumping around the room. And then Bakugo tries to catch him up for explosions, but he's just too fast. And then he tells him that if you're going to be able to catch up with me, you might well use one fall. And he says, I can't. You'll just break my bones. And then Gran Torino stops for a minute. And then he starts, examining the entire room. And he sees that he fucked it up. And then he says, before we jump in, I'm pretty sure that you're hungry. And then he begins to do that thing with the fish crisps and the oven. And then Bakugo, he picks this up. And then he starts thinking about it. And then, later that night, he did what Izuku was trying to do. And then he finally did full cowling. And he was higher than Izuku. Because, he has been training all of his life. And taking all the beans from a guy like this, a guy like that in the picture, just not bald and not black and not super tall, it's going to change you in many ways. So he's going to handle 20% of the bat. And then he was able to tag Gran Torino easily. And then he begins to head to Hosu with Gran Torino, because Gran Torino does not want this man to only be thinking of counters for him. So he decides to take him so that he could master other heroes' moves. And then Bakugo remembers everything that Izuku told him to watch over Ida. And then he asks Gran Torino that after the patrol, can he go and check on someone? And then Gran Torino says, I don't know what you want to do, but sure. And the Nomu came in. And then Bakugo charges up for Kalin because, they're on the goddamn train. If he uses explosions, he could hurt people. And then he tries to tackle him. And then Gran Torino also handles the Nomu and then tells him that go outside and then take care of the other ones. I noticed that they were causing a rampage. And then they see flames. And as they see flames, they notice that Endeavor is here too. And then Gran Torino just tells Bakugo to go help them. I'll handle this. And then he does. And Tenya Ida, still, like an idiot, gets taken down by Stain. But before that shit happened, he gets hit with a smash. And Ida is like, Bakugo, is that you? What are you doing? I've never seen you use this before. And then Bakugo just looks at him, says, you damn idiot! What were you thinking? And then Ida is like, what? And then Bakugo just says, can you move at all? God, you're lucky I was able to find you. Hell, you're even lucky I was even here in Osu at all. And then, we begin to see that Bakugo was heading everywhere, using his explosions to maneuver, everywhere. And then as he was maneuvering through the rooftops, he could hear engines bursting. And then he went to that sound and then saw Ida was about to get stabbed by Stain, and that's how it happened. And well, Stain gets back up and then says, well, as he removes the blood from his lips, "Ain't you a strong one?" And then Kachan just pounds his fist, and then a little explosion comes out. And then he says, "Buddy, you have no idea." And then he gets into a stance. And well, as he gets into a stance, he picks out his phone and then taps the call button. And he just sent a text blast to anybody that is there, and then puts his phone back. And then they begin to brawl. He was able to easily handle Stain, but it wasn't just piece of cake. Stain is still basically a superhuman, and eventually he was able to catch up with Bakugo and well cut him, and well blood curdle. And Bakugo is stopped in his tracks. And then Stain says, "Well, you're different from all the other heroes. Unlike people like Endeavor who just wants money, and unlike this boy who just wants revenge, you actually came here to protect these big heroes. And I must say, I commend you for that." And then Bakugo, who can still talk, says, "Go fuck yourself." And then he says, "Despite the bad tone, I know that you mean well, so I'll let you live." Your friend, on the other hand. And as he gets ready to stab him, Todoroki appears, and then he says, "Bakugo, you're lucky I was able to find you at all. You didn't really send clear details." And then he says, "Oh, a new fighter in the ring. Who are you, kid?" And then Shoto Todoroki just says, "I am Shoto Todoroki, son of Endeavor." And then Stain is like, "Endeavor, huh? Well, that just makes your death all the better." And then they begin to brawl. Todoroki was able to easily keep Stain at bay due to his ice and fire side, as he did still intern with Endeavor. And Endeavor, well, he didn't go crazy and then start saying all that shit and then boasting. And then as he did receive the message, Endeavor told him to go. And well, that's how Endeavor still acts. He's now a kind hero. So that's how he now acts. And Endeavor, and Todoroki, well, he starts, well, warming to his dad because he just thought that it was all a ploy when in actuality it wasn't. And so he started to use his fire side more and more, almost the same as his ice side. But it's still pretty weak since he never really touched on it much. And well, sooner or later, Ida was still able to move. And he was helping Todoroki. And then soon, Bakugo was able to move as well. And then they begin to think that it was due to their blood types. And so they begin to attack Stain as one. And well, Todoroki gets ready. He sends him flying. Ida gets ready to kick him, and then Bakugo gets ready with a howitzer smash. And then they both take down the hero killer Stain and rescue Native. And then as they were dragging the captured Stain, Bakugo still gets, well, kidnapped by Rampage Inoue, but he was able to save himself. But unluckily, due to this, Stain was able to escape. And well, he still goes out and then kills some of the heroes. And then as he kills one random D-rank hero, well, he starts giving the speech that is still recorded. And then one person was able to catch it. And well, the rest is history. But unlike last time, Stain still returns back to the League of Villains uncaptured. And this brings in Darby, this brings in Toga, this brings in Twice, all that good jazz. And then after all of that crazy week, they managed to come back, not triumphantly, but as something. And then Izuku's like, "Hey, how did it go?" And then Bakugo just says, "Terrible. Your friend He's a pretty goddamn good idiot. And then he was like, huh? And then Bakugo just tells him, never mind. He's in the hospital getting treated for his wounds. He's like, what happened? And then Bakugo is like, oh boy, let me just tell you the story. And this is why I'm going to leave it off here, guys. If you enjoyed my content, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and comment down below on any what if ideas that you have. And this is Gratify What If signing off.